Hello. For several years already, financial and governmental authorities have promoted abolishing cash money. Payments with digital currency only would be allowed. Lately, the European Union came up with launched a proposal to limit cash money. That would apply to all European countries and it is planned for 2018. Is this new? No. For several years and in several countries, we have noticed criminalization of cash money. If people paying with cash money are associated to terrorists or thieves. We have also noticed to pay some services with digital currency only. We have also noticed the removal of some banknotes. For instance, in India last November, 80% of the value of cash money was wiped out overnight. There also another thing we have noticed is the restrictions on cash payments for transactions or when crossing borders. We have also noticed the scrutiny and resistance to the withdrawal of money from the bank accounts. What's the purpose? What's going on? What's behind all this? Well, the official purpose is, there are two things they pretend to prevent. Is the fight. We have to fight the terrorism financing, and the other one is to fight money laundering. Well, if we have a closer look at those two, we can see that terrorism financing is done through deep state government, and that money laundering is done by big money, which is the bankers and multinationals. Interesting. What is at stake, actually? Well, the target of eliminating cash is to outlaw cash money. Let's recall that there are two types of currencies. One is fiat money, cash money, paper money, and it is legal tender. The other one is digital currency. Digital currency is not legal money. It is bank money. It is created out of thin air. It is debt money, and it counts for 95% of the money. There is a danger we have to be aware of. Money belongs to its current holder. When I make a bank deposit, I am not the holder anymore. The bank is. I am a lender. I lent my money to the bank. I may claim my money when I want, and I will get it, but there's one condition, is that the bank can pay me back. If the bank is solvent, I will get it. But if the bank is not solvent, I have lost my money. The consequences of a cashless society are numerous. First of all, we have a loss of our fundamental right to property. It is a total loss. We also have a total loss of privacy to banks and governments. In addition, it is submission to banking monopoly. The bank is the gateholder of the monetary concentration camp. It can allow or forbid all transactions at will. They can even proceed to an instantaneous eviction of a citizen from society by denying him access to his bank account. There are other consequences, one of them being the bail-in. Bail-in is the bank, when the bail-in, the bank is allowed to seize savers' money just because it will prevent the bank to fail. Also, it is arbitrary. It makes possible arbitrary taxation, either on cash money deposits or through negative interest rates. Let's have a look at the sheepfold and see what's going on out there. It is a world of illusion, and we have three players. It is hell on earth with the sheep, the wolf, the bad guy, the wolf, the poor sheep, the bad wolf, and the good guy, the shepherd. This one is the people. This is the bad private sector. And this is the good public sector. Let's be aware of what's going on out there. The sheep is the only one producing everything. Those two do not produce anything. So you can imagine that there is a collusion between those two in order to dominate and exploit the sheep and make sure that the sheep remains in the sheepfold and remains obedient and servile. So they get together. So let's not forget this. We always think that government is serving the people. No, the government is serving big money. Big money being the banks and multinationals. Now, let's get into the shoes of the leaders of the world management, if I can say so. It's not an easy job these days, but because they have one problem, and their major problem is the free will. Human beings have free will. What does that mean? It means that they can choose their government. They can choose an external government which pretends to be sovereign, or an inner government which is their sovereign soul. And this is the problem, the major problem to make sure to solve. They have to solve it in order to maintain the sheep into the sheepfold. Their very life is at stake. So what's the solution? Well, the solution is to bring the sheep to give up his free will. How can we achieve that? Well, by taking total control over the sheep money. And this is what the cashless proposal is all about. Because all you have to do is to come up with a condition. You need, for instance, you need a microchip to have access to your money. And then people with no microchip, or who refuse the microchip, will be denied access to their bank account and will not be able to buy nor to sell anything. And this is citizen death. This is what it really is. The end result they're looking after is to have the microchip for everybody. So this way they will, and I'm talking about the leaders of this world, they will be able to establish definitely their world dictatorship on the planet. What is a RFID that we call microchip? Well, the RFID is a transmitter-receiver device between two parties. One party is the handler who controls the device, and the other party is the citizen who bears the microchip. There's an exchange of waves between both. The handler receives waves that are used for surveillance and for traceability of the citizen. And he also transmits waves to the citizen to have control over his brain and especially control his behavior totally. If I accept the microchip, I give up my free will to the handler. I also agree to bear a weapon that can make me sick and even kill me anytime. And I consent to barter away my soul. How about personocratia? Personocratia is a consciousness. It is the consciousness of every person who remembers who she is and who behaves accordingly. It's a person who knows that she is sovereign, that her soul is sovereign. What does she do then? Well, she stops her sheep mode behavior. She stops the collaboration with both the government and the bankers and multinationals, as we have seen before in the Sheepfold. What does she do then with the banks? Well, with the banks, first of all, she stops using cards. Cards, should they be debit or credit? She stops using checks. She stops lending money to the bank, investing money, taking insurance. She stops also usury in every situation. No more usury. She does all her transactions either in cash money or in metal currency, such as gold and silver coins. And eventually, she closes down her bank account. Now, how does she behave with multinationals? Very simple. She buys local products and services only, never buys anything from multinationals. How does personocratia do with government? Well, first of all, she knows that there is a hidden, tacit agreement between government and the citizen. So she will bring this agreement to an end. She will stop giving her power away and her money away to the government. Her power, she will stop giving her power by stopping voting. She won't vote anymore, and she will have her name taken away the electoral roll. So she will restrict and decrease all her tax payments on any level, every level. She will also stop the other way of the agreement, which is receiving from government. And this is getting benefits and aid from daddy state. One after the other, she lets them go. And she becomes a self-reliant adult sovereign. In addition, personocratia behaves concretely as a sovereign creatrix that she is. So she creates, first of all, she creates her own money. She can do barter, or she can use alternative money systems. But the best one is definitely the game, because it is a sovereign, self-managed money between two individuals with no interference of anybody. In addition, she creates her own work according to her competence, according to her facilities, her abilities. She will fulfill the needs of the local people. She also invests locally, invests her time, her money, her energy locally. Briefly, she lets go progressively of the citizen sheep with its rights and privileges and its duties and obligations. And mostly, Personocratia surrenders her free will to her sovereign soul. She will never accept the microchip. Personocratia, she faces citizen death because she knows that it is necessary for her transformation of consciousness. And at last, Personocratia is confident in her ability to create solutions, herself and the rest of humanity alike. The New World Order and the United Nations technocrats and politicians carry on relentlessly with their program of robotization of human beings in order to establish their world dictatorship on planet Earth. The elimination of cash is nothing but a trap to force people to accept the unacceptable, which is the microchip, the mark of the beast, and to consent to sell their soul. Saying yes or no to elimination of cash is saying yes or no to the microchip, and it is saying yes or no to the world dictatorship. This is the hidden agenda of cash elimination. What are we going to choose? Yes or no? The decision is ours.